Okay, so here we are. Still working on trying to figure out what the problem was. Got all those switches and safety things on order, solenoid on order, and then guess what I found? Okay, so look, we have a ground wire, a black wire, that was actually tucked down. You can't really see. That was tucked down in there, and it's coming out of that wire loom. I thought it went to this sensor, but it doesn't reach the sensor. So wherever it goes, I am not sure. I'm gonna have to figure out what that goes to and fix it and see if that gives us the fix that we need. So stand by, we'll see if that's it. Okay, so I was able to get my hand a little further down looking for the other end of the wire, and I found all those wires completely cut. I'm gonna have to figure out what the heck those go to, because they're all toast. So it looks like this is going to be pretty much a rewire job. I see a zip tie attached to them. They're coming out of a wire loom going towards the brake solenoid, or the brake safety, which is that right there, but they're not wired into that, so they dipped down below the engine compartment on the outside of the tractor, and why, I'm not too sure. I haven't gotten under the tractor yet to see if I can find out where those go. I'm gonna have to take off the mower deck and everything and figure out what's going on, if I can get under there or not. So stay tuned. This has turned out to be not a safety switch issue, but it looks like a major wiring issue. I'll give you an update in a second. Okay, so here we are. We've taken off the side panel here that exposes the filter and the spark plug, and there's a couple of ground wires in this wire loom that run up from the top that runs next to this brake sensor. Now, it's not anything that goes to the brake sensor. It actually mounts to the grounding port here, which is where the large ground connects. If I can show you that, where the ground port connects, that goes directly to the battery. There are two grounds, or there were two grounds. As you can see, they got completely chewed up, and that's where they got chewed up at. If you look at the distance between that and the ring, the terminal that screws into that, that's how much slack there was coming out of that wire loom. And for some reason, those wires went down below the engine compartment and got torn up by the pulley that's underneath there. That is the I'm guessing it goes back to the differential transmission or whatever. So that's how this has gotten destroyed. I pulled off the mower deck, got up underneath there, and was trying to find out what they connected to, because the wire loom itself went right over the connection, and I did not see these because they were tipped down and in the belt that's under there. So that's what tore this up. How these got so loose and were able to work their way down there, I have no idea. So I've got to rewire this. I'm not sure that I have the tools to redo the wiring at this moment, but I'm going to check and see. Even if I get a couple of butt splices and some heat shrink tubing or something, I should be able to repair this to the point where it'll make a ground connection to send power to the electrical system. Otherwise, I'm going to have to disconnect the entire wire loom and trace these electrical wires all the way back up to the top, which I may do because it might be easier to isolate what the issue was, just for future reference, because we're only talking 3, maybe 4 feet worth of wire, and then that way I could probably reroute from the top down those those wires. So we'll see what happens. I'll see what I got as far as tools and then make my decision from there. But I'll keep you updated. Okay, so we got the wire loom back installed, electrical taped, checking all of our connections, checking our fuses. Everything looks like it's in order. Battery's hooked back up. We had some slack in the wire that was cut, so we snipped it off, and then just used some solder and some heat shrink tubing. Got it all fixed up, remounted the ground, which is way down there, and preliminary results seem to be good. So we got the motor deck put back on, close the hood, and so now if you look at the hour gauge back there, if I can get it to focus, it doesn't want to focus. Okay, so now we're going to turn the ignition and that should come on. And it does. And that's a development because previously it did not. So what happened was there was an open ground and that was causing the issue. So we're going to go ahead and see if this thing will fire up.